Aaliyah's and Beyoncé's lives and careers seem to be parallel at one point. For the longest time, it's been believed that Jay-Z once tried to date Aaliyah. It is alleged that they hung out a few times, went on a few dates, that kind of thing, but it never became serious. They were rumoured to be linked in 1999, when Aaliyah would have been 20 and Jay-Z 29. Jay-Z's then business partner, Damon Dash, also pursued Aaliyah around the same time. In an interview with Hip Hop Motivation, Dash said, "It was just a situation where Aaliyah was the type of girl who would give you a shot. She didn't care what people thought or whatever. So she'll date you and be your friend. You might end up in the friend zone. A lot of the times, that's what happened." Although Dash won her affections in the end, the Rockefeller producer gave some insight into the real reason it never went anywhere between Aaliyah and Jay. On a 2019 appearance on the radio show The Star Report, Dash said nothing became of the relationship between Aaliyah and Jay-Z because Jay-Z wouldn't go public with it. Dash said, quote, "He wouldn't go public with her and tried to keep that ish private." This is all alleged, but it's not hard to believe, considering he and Beyoncé's relationship was kept a secret right up until the point they got married. Till this day, they are one of Hollywood's most private couples. That's why people went nuts for Lemonade, because for the first time, the tea was spilled in their relationship from a direct source, Beyoncé herself. Choke No Joke said that Dash actually went behind Jay-Z's back to holler at Aaliyah. But Damon Dash told Page 6 that he didn't mean for it to happen the way it did. He said, quote, "I didn't mean to fall in love with Aaliyah. She was just that cool." He claims he didn't mean to step on anyone's toes, saying, "I did not know Jay was trying to holler at her. But it just happened like that. He was trying, I was trying, everyone was trying." Heck, even Timbaland admitted that he was in love with Aaliyah in the early stages of their collaborations. In his True Hollywood story, Timbaland described falling in love with Aaliyah instantly after meeting her. He said, quote, "When I first met Aaliyah, it's time for the world to hear this. I'm gonna give up a little secret. I was in love with her. I said, she's just a baby, I'm old. I said to myself, I'm just gonna be her brother." At the time, Timbaland was 23 and Aaliyah was 16. Timbaland later went on to admit that he married his wife because she looked like Aaliyah. His wife filed for divorce in 2013 and later in 2015. When Aaliyah released her first single, Back and Forth, in 1994, Beyoncé was yet to make her name as the lead singer of Destiny's Child. Both singers began performing and pursuing their careers at a very young age and had similar beginnings in show business. Both of them appeared on Star Search and both made names for themselves in their local areas before becoming big on a worldwide stage. Their careers overlapped and paralleled throughout the years. Recently, Aaliyah's uncle, Barry Hankerson, revealed that the two of them co-wrote some songs together. Speaking of Beyoncé, Hankerson told Odyssey, "I'm a fan of hers. Aaliyah was a fan of hers." To her credit, Beyoncé actually came into the studio and helped Aaliyah write some songs. She was very non-egotistical in that point of view, which I appreciate because I've worked with a lot of artists that have an ego. We've had to move some furniture to get them in the room. He went on to say how unfortunate it is that the two of them never got an opportunity to work together, and that it would have been magical. He said, quote, "In all due respect, Beyoncé is Beyoncé." But many fans believe Aaliyah would have gone on to have the sort of status Beyoncé enjoys today if she was still here. Others have gone so far as to say that perhaps Beyoncé may not have had the monopoly she appears to have had if Aaliyah was still around today. Beyoncé didn't begin her solo career until 2003, when she released her debut solo single, Crazy in Love. She was of course huge in Destiny's Child. They released their debut single in 1996, soon after signing with Columbia Records. Beyoncé's solo career began the year after Aaliyah's death, a time when her absence was strongly felt. In the aftermath of the shocking plane crash in which she lost her life. But the two of them had different singing styles, for sure. Aaliyah, with the sultry laid-back vocals, in contrast to Bey's belting soprano voice. Their dance moves, fashion, and overall style really differed in the opinions of many. It meant that a collaboration between the two of them would have been that much greater. Some fans believe Aaliyah's absence made it easier for Beyoncé to slide right in as a top female solo artist in R&B. Some have gone as far as to put some theories out there because there were a lot of mysteries surrounding Aaliyah's death and a certain entity that sounds like the word illuminate, but I won't get into that. This isn't the mid-2000s. Even if Beyoncé was able to slide right in, she has no doubt maintained longevity in the industry for a whopping 25 years or so now, when most artists or groups fail to last for even more than 5 years. You can't knock her work ethic, and she knows how to reinvent herself and keep people guessing. That's why she has been so successful for so long. Author Kathy Iladoli said the comparisons between Beyoncé and Aaliyah are misogynistic. When asked if Beyoncé would still be the icon she is today if Aaliyah was still around, she said, quote, "Beyoncé would always be Beyoncé. Her destiny was always to be Beyoncé. She was Destiny's child, pun intended. So she would always be Beyoncé. And people like to say, if Aaliyah were here, there would be no Beyoncé. No. I think Beyoncé was still going to be Beyoncé while Aaliyah was here. I think that is so incorrect, and it just speaks of the misogyny in the music industry. To assume one icon has to not be here for the other to flourish when it comes to women, which I think is completely unfair." She went on to say that Aaliyah would probably be similar to Rihanna if she was still here. Do you agree? She said, quote, "I think Aaliyah would have been like Rihanna personally. I think in the sense of having her hands in so many different things simultaneously." Although Kathy called such remarks misogynistic, there are female fans who say the same thing. Christina Williams, WNBA insider and founder of Girls Talk Sports, said, "I think if Aaliyah was still alive, she would have Beyoncé's star power. Either way, there's nothing to say that there wouldn't have been room for both of them." Timbaland told The Breakfast Club back in 2012 that Aaliyah would have been Beyoncé's status because she was the first one doing all of these things. T-Pain actually pointed out that people tend to idolize those who have passed on, and he thinks people probably would have criticized Aaliyah and accused her of trying to be like Beyoncé. Female artists are always pitted against one another, no matter what, and fans feel they have to pick a side for some reason. But in the 90s, I really don't believe it was that bad. But that probably has a lot to do with there being no social media back then. I do think people tend to believe that there can only be one female artist at the top of her game, and that's a shame. I like to think there's room for every artist who does their own thing and is true to themselves. Would Beyoncé be as big if Aaliyah was still here? Do you agree with Timbaland that Aaliyah would have had Beyoncé status? Or do you agree with Kathy that the whole talk is kind of misogynistic? Or do you think both would have been huge in their own right? Thanks for watching. If you found any of this interesting, give me a like, subscribe for weekly videos, and don't forget to click the bell for more.